So now we're going to get to another stage of our conversation where Musa Dankwa, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Global InfoAnalytics, has got the latest polls as far as the two of them are concerned. And I'm talking about Alan Kojo Chiremanteng and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, but there's a third person. That's the Honorable Kennedy Ohene Ejipon. And so Musa Dankwa, good morning once again. It's good to have you. You sent me your latest polls on the NPP's internal primary. So what are we going to expect? Because I'm sure you'll be going to the screen shortly.
Right. First of all, let me say hello to your cherished listeners.
Right.
And also to the good people of Madina Zongo. And then to our able field officers crisscrossing the country as we speak right now.
Right.
So we have latest numbers, but it's inconclusive right now.
It's inconclusive?
Yes. It's going to be, because it's still ongoing. It's a live poll that we
Okay.
have right now.
Okay.
We're going to finish it next week.
Right.
And the picture will be very clear. So what I'll be showing to you now is the most recent one we did in October.
Right.
So we can then see what was happening in July,
Okay.
October, and what we should expect to see
In November.
In January now.
In January
Yes.
this year. So Musa Dankwa is a pollster, so he's got the latest figures in terms of who is leading in the NPP's internal race. So it'll be very interesting for us to see what he has in store for us. We'll be going to the screens shortly. Let me do this. Whilst Musa Dankwa is going to the screens to do a presentation of what he has, and he will do that very, very briefly. Let me do this quickly. So I've got this one here, says that I think the Constitution should be maintained, but some parts should be amended, especially the appointment of the Electoral Commission chairperson. MP should not also be made ministers so that they can concentrate on the work of Parliament. That's coming from Yaro Haruna. Okay, so Musa, what do you have for us? So I can see National Poll Tracker, NPP Race 2022.
Yes.
By Global InfoAnalytics.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the 2022 polling season, we interviewed about 18,825 people nationwide,
Right.
with a various level of margin of errors and the confidence intervals. In averagely about 70 constituencies across the country.
Okay.
So what we are showing you now is the situation between July 2022 and October 2022. What has happened between then?
So we're talking July, August, September, October, 4 months?
Yes, so 3 months.
3 months?
Yes.
Okay.
In July, Bawumia was leading, was 35%.
Okay.
And Alan was 42%.
Okay.
And Kennedy was on 11%.
Right.
Others were 3%, and someone else 9%. In October, Bawumia dropped 4 percentage points to 31%. Alan went up 42 to 44%, and Ken went from 11 to 14%. Others rose slightly to 4%, and someone else declined 1%.
I see.
Now, if you look at among MPP themselves, only MPP voters, Bawumia led 44%.
Amongst MPP voters alone?
Alone.
Okay.
44% Bawumia, and in July. In October, he's dropped to 42%. Alan was on 41% in July. He dropped 1 percentage point to 40% in October. Ken went from 8% to 10% between the period. Now, runoff, in the case of runoff, and it is Alan and Bawumia. In July, Alan was leading 60%, Bawumia 40%. In October, Alan goes to 63% and Bawumia drops 37%. Now, we have a trend chart that we want to show voters. I want to show some important key dates on the graph here. In January, among all voters, Bawumia was on 40%, Alan 28%, someone else 25%, and then others were 7%, and Kennedy Japan was not in the race, so there was no figure for him. In April, Bawumia stayed as 40%. Alan jumped from 28 to 43%. People who said they were voting for someone else suddenly moved towards Alan in April. What happened between January and April? Remember e-levy?
I see.
Yes. When the e-levy issue came up, and it was quiet from Bawumia's camp, I think people made some decisions here. And that was crucial for what is happening in the NPP race. In July, Alan went 1% down to 42%. Bawumia went steep, 35% from 40%. What happened? At that point, Kennedy entered the race.
Interesting.
And then Kennedy went to 11%. And since then, Alan has been steady to 42%, and Bawumia continues to decline at that point. Now, let's look at only MPP voters. Now, watch the shape of this trend chart. Bawumia went from 62% in January among MPP supporters, when Alan was 26%. In April, he dropped to 48% within MPP voters, and Alan went to 41%. Ken entered the race, and he's up there. Sorry. Okay. So at this stage, Bawumia still leads within MPP, 42, Alan 40%, Ken 10%. But we have seen a kind of convergence between the national view and the MPP view, voters' behavior.
Right.
It is converging. Right now, it's a very thin line between Alan and Bawumia among MPP supporters as we speak right now.
So it's basically like neck to neck.
Neck and neck. And look at the numbers. Bawumia leads Alan in all voters, 12% in January. Now, in all voters, he's behind 3%. In April, 7% in July, and 13% in October. Among MPP supporters, Bawumia led 36% in January. He led by 7% in April, led 3% in July, and now 2% in October. We don't know the numbers yet as we are in the field doing the numbers. So by next week, those numbers will come out. Now, it is interesting to see how people who back Kennedy Japan are going to behave in the runoff. Now, you see, in the case of runoff, you have about, this is Bawumia's number and Alan. In the runoff, you have 56% of Ken supporters voting for Alan, blue color. 34% said they will not vote, and only 10% are voting for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So it is very important to understand why these people who are backing Ken are behaving this way. So Ken, if it's a close contest, he will become a kingmaker in the MPP race. People who were voting other candidates in the first round, 49% of them are voting for Alan. 38% said they won't vote. 13% are voting for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You could see that everybody else support Alan in the runoff, which leaves Bawumia alone in the contest. So he hasn't got natural allies within the bloc at the moment, and that could be his biggest problem if the race goes to the wire. And among MPP supporters, 63% of Ken's people are going for Alan. Those who said they are only MPP supporters. 50% of others are going to Alan. Somebody else, they won't vote 86%, and I will not vote 91%. So still, the same pattern that we saw in the national behavior is being seen within the MPP fraternity. Now, we've said that the performance of the president would affect the MPP race, and who will become the flag bearer eventually. Currently, within MPP, 42% of MPP supporters approve of the way Nana Addo is doing his job as president. 54% disapprove. 4% said they have no opinion. Now, let's see people who are voting Bawumia, Alan, and the rest. Where are they getting their support from? 55% of people who are voting for Bawumia, also approves the president. 40% of them disapprove the president. For those who are voting for Alan, 42% of them approve the president, 55% disapprove the president. For Ken, it's much higher. 29% approve the president, and 65 disapprove. The rest, 54, 78, 84. So all the people who are disgruntled in MPP are looking somewhere else other than Dr. Bawumia. So once the president is not performing well in the approval rating, it affects Bawumia significantly. Yeah.
So in essence, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's performance in the internal contest is largely hinged on the performance of the government.
Absolutely.
That's interesting. So the better Nanado performs as president, the
better
brighter Mahmoud
Bawumia.
Bawumia's chances.
Yes.
If the president is not seen as performing well, then Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's chances would dwarf
Diminish,
it.
yes.
And the biggest beneficiary of that will be Alan Chermanteng.
Definitely Alan Chermanteng.
That's interesting. That's Musa Dankwa. So I don't know what you make of these polls, but these are very, very, very interesting. And he's doing the latest one, and that will be out by the end of this month.
This week.
Because that will be
Next week.
Next week.
Yes.
Because that would capture November, December, and January.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Anyway, Musa Dankwa. So I'll come back to you for your own analysis, brief.
Yeah.
Or let me do that quickly. So, what's your brief analysis of this presentation you've made? Again, looking at, because before you did this, Alan Chermanteng hadn't resigned.
Yes.
So your next post will be very interesting.
In fact,
With the resignation of Alan Chermanteng.
we expect that to create a noise in the poll because every radio station is talking about it.
Yes.
People will become very much aware of the situation. I think that would influence what we see in the poll. We have a trend from last week till yesterday, so we can see the difference between the performance of the polling between the two periods, and we can probably identify some points there. But I think for the MPP race, it's the most interesting race I think
You've ever seen.
Yeah. It's going to be very, very interesting. The parties or the camps or the campaign need to really take note of Canada Japan, because Ken is doing damage to both Alan and Bawumia on the ground, and they must know how to deal with it.
I see. So Ken is the guy to watch out.
Yes.
He's seen more as the dark race, like the dark horse in the race.
He's appealing to people who are not happy with what is going on, and people who are at the fringes of the party.
Okay.
So people who want a candidate that can freely speak his mind.
Right.
But there are not many of them within the MP bloc at this stage in terms of being able to really outsmart Bawumia and Alan to win.
Okay. All right.
But he will definitely be a force if there should be a runoff.
Okay.
And each of the campaign must decide how they deal with him.
Let me read this few messages, and then I'll get my two resource persons to wrap it up for me, because we have about 15 minutes to go. So each of them would have, say, 7 minutes each to give me their take on Alan's resignation and how things are going to shape up going forward. So Enoch Ore from Sapeman says, Moore, I think Alan's resignation is a perfect decision to concentrate on his winning strategy, and I hope it will not affect Akufo-Addo's government. And then this one here says, hello, Moro, good morning. Please, no matter how many times no matter how many times you wash a second-hand cloth, there's no way to become brand new. Ken is a disappointment to this government. The way he collapsed the economy of Ghana, I don't think there's anything to offer the new ministry as a caretaker. Please, where are the men? That's Nane Kuya from Dansoman. Stephen Amasaman says, is it that there is no qualified person within the NPP across the country that can man the ministry except the finance minister, that even his own party members accuse of abysmal performance? Where are the men? I'm disappointed. I talk as a Ghanaian, not as a politician, because I don't belong to any political party, even though I vote. I judge you by your words and your deeds. Nanika Boateng from Ablekuma says, good morning, Moro. Alan's resignation will not have any impact on the performance of this government. He's not the choice of the delegates of the NPP. Dr. Bawumia is in the good books of the delegates, and I'm very hopeful that the vice president will win the presidential primaries. Anyway, very special birthday to Rooney Newton, also Dako. And Yusuf from WA says, I want to know why we seem not to give our own people the best of governance. We do too little, and we want to be celebrated. And finally, this one here says that, Honorable, good morning, Mr. Moro. My humble salute to my great, lovely, hardworking member of parliament, Honorable Tela Mohammed. In fact, Anando is doing all this to instigate Ghanaians to cause uprising. Okay, I'm not going to talk about uprising. For him to take it as an opportunity to hold on to power, and it's an excuse of no peace in the country to hold on to the elections. If not, why should he ask his partner Every header level citizen is calling for removal to act as trade minister. Where can you see this, if not deliberate causing pains into the flesh of Ghanaian citizenry? That's coming from Honorable Mohammed Mutala, Assembly Member for Agrek, Mahinyobihi. I hope I got the pronunciation correct. Tamale Central. Okay.